Hi scrapbookers, this is Megan from Crafty Meggy, and I have this layout here for you today for this Scraplift Saturday on the Crafty Maven Getaway channel. Now that layout that I just showed you was a layout from Adele, who is Inky Quill on YouTube, and I will link her layout below. I saw her do that layout probably at the beginning of June. I don't really remember. It was sometime in June, I believe. And I just fell in love with that layout. And it was around the time that Hannah, wanted to start this group. And so when I found out I was going to be doing the Scraplift Saturday layout for my first video, I decided that this was the layout that I was going to Scraplift. So I decided to use my Click Kit Click Kits kit from June. And I don't know how to say that. I think I'm saying it right. Click Kits, because it's called Click Kits Club, I think, or something like that. But I decided to use the June 2015 kit, which was called Dream Quest. It was a gorgeous kit. It was the one using the Journey collection from Crate Paper, and it was so much fun to use. I just absolutely loved it. So I'm going to kind of tweak my layout a little bit and make it a little bit different than Adele's was. I decided to do 6 little squares, and then I'm going to embellish each one of the squares. And then I'm going to put the photo kind of off to the left-hand side and then kind of on top of the squares. So here I am just cutting down my, not my photos, but my papers that I want to use for this layout, and I'm just kind of playing around and moving papers and patterns and things and just trying to figure out what exactly I wanted to do. This is the 4th layout that I made with this June kit from Click Kits. And this paper right here that I'm cutting into was my absolute favorite paper of all time. I absolutely loved both sides of this paper. The feathers was my favorite. I don't know why, but I'm like so in love with feathers right now. And then I also used that paper. It was kind of off-white with some campers on it, I think is what it is. And I thought that was kind of cute. So I'm going to use that. And then also this paper that has, sorry, my camera setup is, I need to figure something out. So it was kind of moving all around. So I apologize about that. Anyway, so here I'm just kind of moving around the papers and figuring out which ones I want to go where. There's a lot of fiddling with the papers in the beginning, so I apologize about that. So here I have this wood grain paper, and that is also one of my other favorites from this kit. And then on the back of the wood grain paper was chevron, like a colorful chevron pattern. So now I'm going to start gluing down all of these papers to each other. And then I'm going to glue the squares to the background. And once I've done that, then I'm going to start embellishing. And that is where this video gets a little bit more exciting. So I'm not too big on embellishing. If you watched a lot of my layouts over at Crafty Meggy, I really don't do a whole lot of embellishing. So having a kit and being able to use the kit and forcing myself to use up all of the embellishments that they put in the kit, it makes it a little bit easier to embellish on a layout. So here I'm going to put down the word fun that came with these gold alpha stickers. Well, they weren't really stickers. They were just in the kit. And then I'm just kind of putting a few little pieces around the layout. Up in that right-hand corner, I have a circle element and then also a banner. And then I'm going to put the little circle cutout aside and put down this wood veneer which says capture on it, but it's kind of blending in right now because like I can barely even see where it's at. And so I'm going to decide to do a little bit of inking on it in a little bit. So here I am just putting the date on this banner tag, and it just says photographed on April 10th. So, and I think that was my Studio Calico. I think that's which one, my Studio Calico rotary stamp. So I'm just going to layer that banner and the arrow on top of that card, or not card, sorry, the wood veneer. And I'm going to put a pop dot on the back of it just to make sure that it stays sticking up, since the wood veneer is kind of three-dimensional. Then I'm using my glue dots, or I think these are called zots, and then here is where I ink up the wood veneer and do a little bit of inking on the sides of the banner and the arrow. Now I'm going to use my zots to glue down this adventure vellum tag, and then I'm going to glue that arrow, the gold arrow, down on top of that. And here on the bottom right hand side, I decide to use that tag. It's kind of an off-whitish, and then it has gold accents on it. And then also that wood veneer that says, "Not all who wander are lost." Then I have that little resin deer, and I'm thinking I want to put it there on that bottom left-hand square, but I'm not really sure. Like, I like it, but at the same time, it's kind of thick, and so I'm kind of nervous about putting it on my page. So I kind of mess around with those little items down there in the bottom. I finally glue down that wood veneer, and then here I finally decide to just glue down that yellow resin deer. I'm just gonna go for it. So I do that, and then now I am going to glue down the letters. Oh, maybe I'm gonna do the arrow, I guess. Or not arrow, sorry, that's a feather. I'm gonna glue down the feather and then this little blue banner, and then the photo. I'm going to place that down. Then I'm also going to put this patterned, it's a really cool pattern. I really like it, but it's a flare badge. And now here is where I'm going to start working on this bottom left-hand corner little embellishment area. So I have that little flag that's kind of dipped on one of the ends in gold. And then here I am going to only put glue zots on part of these letters because I wanted one, like the half of them on the right hand side, to be kind of hanging off of the photos or the paper, the layout, so that you kind of see a little bit more of a shadow. So now I pretty much have embellished this layout. I think I add a little bit more. I'm thinking I'm going to cut apart some of these transparencies, but then I decide I don't really want to use it. So I cut them apart. Oh no, you know what? I do actually use one of these transparencies. I use that one right there that says take the scenic route, and I'm going to cut out the shield. And I'm going to just glue that right above the photo and next to the feather. And that kind of just brings a little bit more interest to that area that you're going to be kind of focusing on as you look at the picture. So there, I'm going to glue it right there. And once again, I'm just going to use my glue dots. It doesn't bother me too much that I can, like, that when you look at the page, you can kind of see the glue dots on the transparency. It's not that big of a deal to me. Then I put that "Oh, the places you will go" little banner tag thing down below the photo. And here I'm thinking that I need to add something below that blue banner next to the photo. but then I decided that I don't really like the camera that I had pulled out. Here I am trying to figure out how I want to do my title. So the title is going to be You Rock, and I think I'm pretty clever because this these are pictures of my oldest son Jonas. At the time, I think he was 4. I think he was 4, he might have been 5, and we were in Salt Lake, or we were somewhere, and my husband's mom, who is in the picture on the left, and we were staying at a condo with her and visiting, and then Jonas also had like some doctor appointments. And so we were like exploring the grounds of the condo that we were staying at, and in that picture on the left, my mother-in-law has a rock in her hands, and it's pretty big, and Jonas is trying to take it from her. And so I just thought it would be kind of cool to have the title be You Rock. So I tried using a stamp set that I got. It's just a wooden stamp set, but I didn't really like the way it looked. I did try stamping it out, and I didn't like the way it looked. So I decided to pull out some of these Tim Holtz stickers and then also the Teresa Collins ones, and I was kind of going back and forth on which ones I wanted to use, and then I'm going to decide that I like these Tim Holtz ones better. So here I'm placing them, and I'm placing them on the side. So, and I didn't really end up liking the way that looks, so I'm going to change it here in a second. So yeah, so here's where I'm changing it around. So I'm just going to make it go the right way so that you can read it when you're, looking straight on at the page. And I had to use a little bit of my Tombow aqua glue just to make sure that one of them stayed on because the backing came off. Here I am using some of these enamel dots that I have in my stash. These did not come in the click kit for June, but I did want to add some of these, so I just grabbed them from my stash. So I am trying to stay with blues, greens, and teals because that's the colors that I was trying to focus on from the inspiration piece that I showed you at the very beginning. And I really, really liked the pillow that had the blue, the gradients of blues and pinks on them. So that's kind of what I was focusing on, and I kind of threw in some gold and browns too. So here I'm just placing down all of those enamel dots, and then I'm going to do some journaling and some misting. Now, the journaling that I had to say about this wasn't very long, and so I knew I probably should have done it to the left of the photo instead of on top of the photo because that probably would have looked better. But Adele, in her layout, she did it her journaling above the photo and then underneath the photo. But I knew that I didn't need to journal that much about these photos, so I just decided to do it on the top. And now that I'm thinking about it, I wish I would have just done it to the side to kind of keep the flow of the layout going, but oh well, I still really, really like how this layout turned out, and I'm so glad that I got this inspiration from Adele today. I used some Heidi Swapp Color Shine in teal, and yeah, that is the end of this layout. So thanks so much for watching my first video on this channel. I hope you'll come back next month to see more from me, and also don't forget to come tomorrow and you will see a spotlight video from Christy. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.